before he did Star Wars, I had just finished Rocky, and
When people picture Sylvester Stallone, they see Rocky standing tall in the ring or Rambo charging through the jungle like a one-man army. But behind the cameras, Stallone was fighting battles way different from anything on screen. Wars built out of jealousy, bruised ego, whispered rumors and grudges that clung to him from set to set. Some of these feuds exploded right in front of the public, while others simmered slow until friendships shattered like glass under pressure. Please subscribe. It means a lot to me and costs you nothing. His resentment ran deep, the kind that didn't fade overnight. It damaged trust, wrecked work relationships, and nearly sank blockbuster movies that should have been guaranteed classics. And the shocking part? His rivals weren't random troublemakers. They were Hollywood titans with massive careers, huge fan bases, and egos sharp enough to slice through steel. The stories behind these clashes will completely flip the way you look at Stallone forever, and out of every person he ever fell out with, nobody tore at him like Arnold Schwarzenegger, the heavyweight rival who turned their beef into a Hollywood myth. Their feud lit up headlines, changed careers, and pushed both men into an unspoken duel for the title of Top Action Legend. It all kicked off at the 1977 Golden Globes, a night Stallone thought would be his victory lap after Rocky shocked the world. Instead, he sat there stunned as category after category slipped away. And across the room, Arnold, still the muscular newcomer from Austria, laughed every single time Rocky got passed over. Stallone snapped. He later admitted, "I threw a bowl of flowers at his head because that moment didn't just sting, it changed him. It lit the fuse for a rivalry that burned for 15 straight years, turning Hollywood into one massive battlefield of one-upmanship." The 1980s became their personal Cold War of action, Stallone shooting out Rocky sequels and First Blood, while Arnold blasted back with Conan, Predator, and The Terminator. Every movie felt like another punch thrown in a fight nobody wanted to lose. Soon, their films started looking like coded messages aimed at each other. Arnold tossed shade right on camera in Twins, smirking at a Rambo poster like it was a joke. Stallone shot back hard in Tango and Cash, beating down an Arnold look-alike not once, but twice, just to make sure people caught the message. Their feud wasn't subtle. It was loud, messy, and pure Hollywood chaos. And the more fans watched, the bigger the rivalry grew, until it practically became its own legend. Two giants fighting for the same crown, pushing each other to extremes, and leaving behind a trail of stories wild enough to fill a whole documentary. Off-screen, things got even messier. Arnold played chess while Stallone played checkers. He pretended to chase a terrible script for Stop, or My Mom Will Shoot, knowing Stallone's pride would make him grab it first, and he did. Critics roasted the movie instantly, calling it a failed attempt to copy Arnold's comedy success. Stallone later said he felt tricked, and it made the rivalry burn even hotter. For years, they refused to back down. Fans loved the drama, reporters couldn't get enough of it, and every new movie felt like another punch thrown in a fight neither of them wanted to lose. Only when the 2000s arrived did the tension finally settle. They appeared together in the Expendables, smiling like nothing ever happened, and even opened restaurants next door to each other like two retired soldiers calling a truce. Stallone eventually said, "We were fierce rivals, but that rivalry pushed us both to do our best." Their story started with humiliation but ended with respect, a rare moment when Stallone's anger turned into something almost noble. But Arnold wasn't the only Hollywood icon Stallone clashed with. On First Blood, he went toe-to-toe with a legend, Kirk Douglas. On paper, it should have been an unstoppable match, the star of Spartacus joining Stallone in what would become one of the most iconic action films ever made. But what began as a massive win turned into a brutal ego fight that shocked everyone on set. At first, everything looked smooth on First Blood. Kirk Douglas, already a legend thanks to Spartacus and Paths of Glory, had signed on to play Colonel Troutman, the only man who truly understood John Rambo. Old-school Hollywood class was about to meet Stallone's raw, explosive intensity, and everyone thought it would be a perfect mix. But Douglas wasn't interested in just stepping into the role. He wanted to rewrite the entire film. He read David Morrell's novel and decided the movie should end with Troutman killing Rambo, no discussion. He kept pushing the idea, saying things like, "Kirk Douglas wouldn't say this," and "Kirk Douglas needs a stronger ending," every time he slammed the script down. It felt like he wanted to reshape the whole story around himself, even though Stallone was building Rambo into a symbol for all the wounded veterans the country ignored. To Stallone, this wasn't a suggestion. It was sabotage aimed straight at the film's soul. Director Ted Kotcheff finally lost patience. He told Douglas flat out, "This is the film we're making. If you don't like it, you can leave." And Douglas did exactly that. He walked off the project only a few days into filming, like he was too important to compromise. Richard Crenna was rushed in at the last minute, learning lines in the car on the way to set, barely having time to breathe before cameras rolled. But the twist? Crenna's calm, fatherly tone brought a whole new warmth to the movie. His performance balanced Stallone's raw fire perfectly, grounding the chaos and giving First Blood the emotional weight nobody expected. The ending stayed the same. Rambo survived, and that choice launched a billion-dollar franchise that would outlive all of them. It was the moment Stallone proved he understood the character more than anyone else in the room. After that, Stallone never forgave Douglas's attitude. He once said that some actors care more about their exit than the story itself, a line everyone knew was aimed straight at Douglas without him saying the name. They never worked together again, and history remembered Douglas not as the man who could have shaped the franchise, but as the man who almost destroyed it before it even existed. Then came Eddie Murphy, the friend Stallone thought would be in his corner for life. It sounds unreal now, but in the late 80s, Stallone and Murphy were tight. Two powerhouse stars running Hollywood, sharing jokes, nights out, and genuine respect. But in 1987, a single rumor sliced through that friendship like a blade, and it never healed again. Everything started on the set of Beverly Hills Cop 2. Stallone's wife at the time, Brigitte Nielsen, was cast in the movie, working side by side with Murphy. She was striking and hard to ignore, and soon whispers bounced around the crew that something was happening between her and Murphy. Tabloids took those whispers and turned them into screaming headlines, and suddenly Stallone's name was right in the middle of gossip he never asked for. Even if nothing happened, the embarrassment hit Stallone hard. He later admitted he picked up the phone and demanded answers directly from Murphy, asking, "What's going on between you and Sasha?" Murphy denied everything, but trust doesn't grow back once it cracks. Stallone's pride wouldn't let it slide, and the vibe between them shifted overnight. Parties became quiet, friends started choosing sides, and by the time the 90s came around, the bond was gone. Murphy later said it was sad that a rumor destroyed years of friendship, but Stallone never turned around to fix it. Some wounds stay open when pride gets involved. The fallout wasn't just personal, it exploded into public view fast. Hollywood started stacking Stallone and Eddie Murphy against each other like they were in some unofficial fight card, comparing box office numbers, fan reactions, and headlines. The guy who once felt like Stallone's closest ally suddenly became just another name on his growing list of people he couldn't trust anymore. And that wasn't the last time Stallone turned a simple spark into a full-blown feud. Then came Richard Gere, the infamous mustard incident that never died. One sandwich, one sloppy drop of mustard, and Stallone locked in a grudge that outlived multiple Hollywood eras. It was 1974, long before Stallone became a global icon, and both he and Gere were hungry young actors grinding for their big break on the low-budget film The Lords of Flatbush. The set should have been a launch pad for both men, but instead it became the birthplace of one of Hollywood's pettiest and wildest feuds. Stallone had co-written the script and was fully invested in the role of Stanley Elzo, a street tough guy with a hidden soft side. Gere, trained in theater, came in sharp, focused, technical, and extremely serious about every detail. Their energies didn't mix at all. Stallone's rough, instinctive style smashed straight into Gere's polished, methodical approach, and the tension grew so thick it felt like the whole set could crack open. The breaking point came during a tight car scene. Gere took a bite of his sandwich, and a fat drip of mustard landed right on Stallone's pants. Stallone didn't wait a second. He elbowed Gere in the head and tossed him out of the car in front of everyone. The whole set went silent, like someone had slammed a pause button on real life. Gere's pride took the hit instantly, and producers had to step in. They fired Gere on the spot. The official excuse was creative differences, but everybody knew that wasn't the real story. Stallone had marked his territory, and Gere was the one who paid the price. Word spread through Hollywood fast, and the humiliation followed Gere long after the movie wrapped. Stallone later brushed it off in interviews, calling the whole thing a personality clash that couldn't be solved. While Gere saw it as proof Stallone would rather throw hands than talk things out, their beef never cooled, not even decades later. People in Hollywood whispered that the bad blood lingered well into Gere's rise with American Gigolo and An Officer and a Gentleman. Two young actors who could have formed an early alliance ended up locked in a lifelong grudge over a mustard stain Stallone refused to forget. Bruce Willis. This was the brotherhood Stallone truly believed would last forever. When Stallone built The Expendables, he wasn't just making another action-packed flick, he was crafting a tribute to the entire 1980s era of tough guy legends who ruled Hollywood with grit and muscle. He wanted to bring back the raw power, the sweat, the danger, the adrenaline, the stuff fans had been starving for. And right in the heart of that vision stood Bruce Willis, a man Stallone trusted like a real partner who survived the same brutal trenches of the business. In the first two films, Willis played Church, the shadowy CIA operator who moved through chaos like he was bulletproof. The role wasn't huge, but the weight he carried lit up the screen every time he appeared. His presence gave the team authority, swagger, and a stamp of authenticity. Stallone treated him like an equal, one of the rare survivors of Hollywood's toughest decade, someone who earned every scar and every victory. But then 2013 hit, and Expendables 3 brought a twist that shook everything apart. Willis demanded $4 million for 4 days of work. No talks, no middle ground, just a straight demand that dropped like a grenade. $1 million a day. Stallone stared at that number like it couldn't be real. The franchise wasn't built on bloated egos. It was built on loyalty, teamwork, and the idea that the old-school legends could stand shoulder to shoulder again. So instead of bending, Stallone cut Willis out instantly and brought in Harrison Ford to take his place. It was a bold move that told the whole industry Stallone wasn't backing down from anyone. Then Stallone did something even bolder. He went public. He jumped on Twitter and blasted Willis as greedy and lazy, and the moment he posted it, the internet stopped spinning for a second. Those words hit harder than any punch on screen, and they stuck fast. Overnight, Willis went from beloved action hero to someone whispers followed everywhere. Whispers about high demands, difficult negotiations, and money being his only priority. It flipped his image in ways nobody expected. Even with all that drama, the movie still exploded at the box office, pulling in over $200 million. but fans felt the empty space where Willis used to stand. The chemistry wasn't the same, the rhythm wasn't the same, and the old magic from the original crew felt cracked. The brotherhood Stallone fought to build just didn't shine as bright without him. Stallone had drawn a solid line, loyalty over fame every single time, and once that trust shattered, he didn't offer any second chances. Willis and Stallone never teamed up again, never patched things up, and never even shared the same room. Their old friendship faded into a silence louder than any explosion they ever filmed. 6 actors, 6 wars, and a side of Stallone the public almost never sees. Some beefs ended with respect, others with silence cold enough to freeze steel, but all of them proved one thing. Stallone never forgot the moments that hit his pride the hardest. Which story shocked you the most? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more untold Hollywood rivalries from Golden Scape.